Cancer. There is a small window of time that has just opened in your life, and the window has a particular shape that I want to describe before I get to the money the title mentions. Because the money is real, and the window is real, but the relationship between them is more interesting than the simple announcement of an incoming sum would suggest. The window is the period during which something that has been forming in the unseen finally crosses into the visible. The window is 72 hours, give or take, in the literal sense the title indicates. But the window is also a structural feature of how this kind of arrival operates, and understanding the structure will help you receive what is approaching with the presence it deserves. I want to walk you through what is occurring, starting from before the window opened and moving forward into what will unfold inside it. Before the window opened, there was a phase of accumulation. Something was being arranged on your behalf in places you could not see, by combinations of circumstance and intention that did not require your participation. The accumulation took time. It involved various small alignments. A piece of information moving from one person to another. A decision being made by someone you may not know personally. A circumstance settling into a configuration that became favorable to you. Each of these small alignments occurred in its own time. None of them, on its own, was sufficient to produce the result. Together they reached a threshold. The threshold has now been crossed. What was being arranged is now ready to express itself in the visible part of your life. The expression will occur within the window. I want to address what the expression will look like, because the form may not match what you would expect if you were imagining a generic announcement of incoming money. The form will be specific. It will arrive through a recognizable channel. There will be no ambiguity about where it came from. You will be able to trace it to its source. The source may surprise you, or it may not, depending on how aware you have been of what has been building. Some people, when they receive arrivals of this kind, find that the source was something they had been expecting at some level. Others find that the source is entirely unanticipated. Either is possible for you. The unanticipated would not be wrong. The expected would not be wrong either. The form will be what it is, and you will recognize it when it occurs. I want to share something specific about the size of what is approaching. I am not going to give you a number, because I do not have a number, and offering one with false specificity would not serve you. What I can tell you is that the sum is meaningful enough to be noticed, but not so large that it overwhelms the structure of your life. It is the size of an arrival that allows you to address something that has been pending, or to make a decision that has been awaiting resources, or to provide a small but real expansion in your sense of what is currently possible. The size is calibrated to the moment. It is what is appropriate to receive now. Larger arrivals may follow in their own time, but this one is the one that is moving through the current window. I want to address the source of what is approaching. The source is real and identifiable. It is not, in some metaphysical sense, the universe gifting you money out of thin air. The money is moving through specific channels with specific intermediaries for specific reasons. The reasons may involve work you have done, gestures you have made, relationships you have maintained, or simply circumstances aligning in ways that include you. The arrival is not random. It is the result of actual causes that have produced an actual effect. The chain of causation may not always be fully visible to you, but it exists. You will recognize when the arrival occurs that it makes sense in light of what has been happening. The making sense is part of how you will know the arrival is genuine and not a fluke. This is Cancer Tarot, and I want to slow down to address a quality of attention I sense will serve you in the window. The quality is receptive alertness, not anxious watchfulness, not strained anticipation, just a kind of soft openness to what is occurring around you in the coming stretch of hours. The arrival may not announce itself with fanfare. It may arrive through a piece of communication that, on first glance, looks ordinary. A message, a notification, a document, a small interaction that contains more than its surface suggests. The receptive alertness will help you notice the arrival when it occurs, rather than letting it pass through your awareness unprocessed. You do not need to be on high alert. You only need to be slightly more present than usual to the ordinary moments of your days during the window. I want to mention something specific about what may happen in the early part of the window. The first hours of the window may not produce the visible arrival. They may produce signs that the arrival is approaching. Small synchronicities, coincidences, moments when something you encounter seems to point toward the financial dimension of your life, a reference to money in an unexpected place. A small piece of unanticipated good news that is not the main arrival, but resembles it in miniature. These early signs are part of the field activating around the larger movement. They are confirmation that something is in motion. Treat them as confirmation. Do not treat them as the full event. The full event is still ahead. I want to address what to do practically during the window. Continue your ordinary life. Do not put your normal activities on hold in order to wait for the arrival. The arrival will reach you wherever you are, whatever you are doing. There is no special location you need to be in. There is no special activity that will increase the probability of arrival. The arrival is on its own track, and your track is on yours. The two will intersect at the appropriate point, regardless of whether you are positioned in any special way. So continue with your usual responsibilities. Take care of what needs taking care of. Engage with the people who are part of your daily life. The continuing is what allows the arrival to find you in the middle of your actual existence, which is where it is meant to land. I want to address something about the period after the arrival, because the after period is sometimes more important than the moment of arrival itself. After the resources have arrived, you will need to make decisions about what to do with them. The first decision is whether to make any immediate decisions. I would gently suggest that you not make major decisions about the resources within the first day or two of receiving them. The first day or two should be for absorbing what has occurred, allowing your nervous system to register the new conditions, and giving yourself time to think clearly. Decisions made in the immediate aftermath of unexpected arrivals are often shaped by reactive thinking rather than considered judgment. A small pause produces better decisions. I want to mention something about how you may feel in the moment of arrival. You may feel a quieter response than you expect. The cinematic version of receiving unexpected money involves jumping up and down, calling everyone, celebrating loudly. The actual experience for most people is closer to a quiet stillness, a pause, a moment of taking in what has occurred. The stillness is not absence of feeling. It is the appropriate response to receiving something significant. The feeling will continue to register in your body and mind over the hours that follow. You do not need to manufacture a bigger response than the response that naturally occurs. Trust whatever response you actually have. It is appropriate. I want to share something about a particular practice that may serve you during the window. When you have small moments of awareness throughout the day, take a brief internal note of the fact that you are inside the window. The noting does not require you to do anything else. It just establishes a small thread of continuity between you and what is approaching. People who maintain this kind of soft awareness tend to receive arrivals more fully than people who go through the window distracted. The receiving is the practice. The practice does not require effort. It only requires a small bit of recurring attention. I want to address a possible concern. There may be a part of you that wonders whether to trust this, whether the window is real, whether the arrival is genuine, whether the size and timing I have described will actually match what occurs. I understand the wondering. Predictions of specific events within specific timeframes are exactly the kind of prediction that produces disappointment if they do not unfold as described. I want to address this honestly. The energetic accuracy of what I am picking up is high. The specific manifestation may have some variation. The arrival may come slightly earlier or slightly later than the strict 7-2 hour window. The form may be slightly different from what you anticipate. But the underlying event, the arrival of unexpected money through identifiable channels, is real. The window is the appropriate time frame to be alert. The alertness is the appropriate response. Trust the underlying pattern, even if specifics vary slightly. This is Cancer Tarot, and I want to speak more broadly about what is happening in your financial life because the 7-2 hour arrival is one expression of a larger pattern. The larger pattern is that the field around your finances has been shifting in your favor. The shifting has been occurring for some time. The 7-2 hour arrival is a visible expression of the shifting, but it is not the only expression. Other expressions have been occurring, and more will continue to occur. The pattern includes the small reductions in friction you may have been noticing, the unexpected small windfalls, the opportunities that arrive through unexpected channels. All of these are part of the same underlying movement. The 7-2 hour arrival is a notable moment within the movement, but the movement itself is the larger story. I want to mention something about how the larger movement will continue to unfold. After the 7-2 hour arrival, there will be other arrivals. Not all of them will be as concentrated or as dramatic as this one. Some will be steady, gradual increases. Some will be specific events, smaller in magnitude but still meaningful. The cumulative effect over the coming months will be a meaningful improvement in your financial situation. The improvement is structural, not just incidental. It reflects a change in the underlying conditions of your life rather than a temporary disruption to the previous baseline. You can plan accordingly. You can make decisions that assume the new conditions will continue. The continuation is reliable. I want to address the question of what produced these new conditions. The new conditions were produced by a combination of factors. Some of the factors involved you, choices you made, work you did, patterns you released. Other factors involve circumstances that did not directly involve your participation, but that aligned in ways favorable to you. The combination is what produced the result. You can take some credit for your part in the combination without taking all the credit. The taking of some credit is appropriate and important. You did contribute. Your contributions matter. The result is partly a recognition of what you have done. Receive the recognition without minimizing it. I want to share something about how to think about the relationship between effort and reward in the new conditions. The previous conditions of your life may have established a particular ratio between effort and reward. You worked hard, and the rewards came in a particular proportion. The proportion may have felt frustrating at times. You may have wondered why your effort did not produce more visible outcomes. The new conditions involve a different ratio. The same level of effort will produce more because the field around your effort has become more responsive. This is not because you are working harder, it is because the receptivity of the environment to your work has shifted. The shift is one of the structural elements of what is changing. You can rely on the better ratio continuing. The ratio is part of the new conditions, not a temporary feature. I want to mention something about what the 7-2 hour arrival may make possible. Within the constraints of the size I described, there will be things you can do with the resources that you could not have done without them, decisions you can finalize, purchases you can make, pressures you can release. Some of these will be small, some will be more significant. I would gently encourage you to use some of the resources for something that is purely positive, not just for addressing problems. A small gesture toward yourself, a small allocation towards something that gives you pleasure rather than just relief. The pleasure allocation is important. It signals to your nervous system that the resources are not just for managing scarcity, but for actually living. The signaling matters for how future resources will be received. People who use all incoming resources to address problems train their systems to expect resources only when problems demand them. People who use some incoming resources for pleasure train their systems to expect resources also for living. The second training produces more sustainable abundance. I want to address something about the people who may be part of how this arrival reaches you. There may be one or more specific people who play a role in the arrival. A person who passes along information, a person who makes a decision that affects you, a person who simply happens to be involved in the channel through which the arrival moves. You may know who these people are, you may not. Either way, the people involved are part of the larger system that is producing this result. You can hold them in your awareness with appreciation, even if you do not know their specific identities. The appreciation is part of how the system continues to operate in your favor. Systems that produce good outcomes tend to be sustained by appreciation. Systems that are taken for granted tend to recede. I want to share something about a particular kind of integration that the 7-2 hour arrival will require. The integration is the absorption of the new resources into your sense of yourself. You have perhaps been carrying a self image that has been calibrated to the previous financial conditions. The self image has included certain assumptions about what is possible for you, what you can afford, what is in or out of your range. The arrival will require some updating of these assumptions. The updating may feel small because the arrival itself is small in the larger scheme of financial transformations. But even small updates to a long held self image take a moment to settle. Allow yourself the moment. Notice the assumptions that need to be revised. Revise them gently as the new information continues to register. Here on Cancer Tarot, the emphasis I want to leave with you is this. The 7-2 hour window is a specific time-bound moment. The moment is real. The arrival within it is real. You are inside the window now, or about to be. The next stretch of hours will produce a specific event that you will recognize when it occurs. Receive the event with the receptive alertness I described. Allow yourself a moment of stillness when it occurs. Do not make major decisions in the immediate aftermath. Continue your life. The integration will take care of itself in its own time. After the integration, the larger pattern of changing financial conditions will continue to unfold. The 7-2 hour arrival is one expression of the pattern. Other expressions will follow. The cumulative effect will be a meaningful improvement in your financial situation, sustained over time, that reflects a structural shift rather than a temporary fluctuation. You can rely on the shift to continue. The continuation is part of the new conditions. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the work you have done that has produced this. The work has not always been visible to you as work. It has been the daily practice of being a particular kind of person, making particular kinds of choices, maintaining particular kinds of integrity. The practice has accumulated. The accumulation has reached the point where the field around you is responding visibly. The 7-2 hour arrival is one piece of evidence that the response is occurring. More evidence will come. The cumulative evidence will eventually settle into a sense of stable improvement that you will be able to rely on. The reliance is one of the gifts of having done the work over the long term. I want to mention something about how to handle the gratitude that may arise in the moment of arrival. Allow it to be present. Do not perform it. Do not turn it into a project. Just let it move through you in whatever form it takes. Some people have spontaneous tears. Some have quiet smiles. Some have a soft inner thank you that they do not articulate aloud. All of these are valid. The gratitude is its own form of communication. It travels into the field that produced the arrival and contributes to the continuation of the conditions that produced it. The contribution does not require any particular form. It only requires sincerity. I want to share an observation about how arrivals of this kind tend to cluster. The 7-2 hour arrival may not be the only thing that occurs within the window. Other things may also occur. Good news of various kinds, opportunities that surface, conversations that produce favorable outcomes. The window has been activated, and the activation tends to produce multiple expressions, not just one. So be open to noticing more than just the financial arrival. Other good things may be present in the same period. Receive all of them. The receiving compounds. I want to address one more thing before closing. The 7-2 hour arrival is meaningful in itself, but its larger significance is as a marker. It marks the transition from a phase in which the favorable conditions were operating beneath the surface to a phase in which they are operating in your visible life. The marker is significant. After this arrival, you will be living more visibly in the new conditions. The visibility will increase over time. The increasing visibility is what allows your conscious mind to update its sense of what is possible. The updating is one of the gifts. By the time the visible conditions have stabilized, your self image will have caught up to them, and you will be inhabiting a life that more accurately reflects what you are structurally worth. You are about to receive a piece of evidence that the conditions have changed. Receive the evidence as evidence. Let it inform your sense of what is true. Let it adjust your assumptions about what is possible. Let it support the continuing development of the version of you that is now coming into fuller expression. The development is real. The arrival is real. The window is real. You are exactly where you need to be in relation to all of it. Stand here. Stay open. Let the next stretch of hours unfold. The unfolding will include what you have been told to expect and possibly more. Receive what comes with the dignity of someone who has earned what they are now receiving. The dignity is appropriate. You have earned this. Receive it. The window is open. The arrival is in motion. You are about to receive a visible confirmation of what has been forming in the unseen. The confirmation is good. The confirmation is yours. The confirmation will continue to inform your life beyond just the immediate event. Walk into the next stretch of hours with the calm certainty of someone who knows that something good is approaching and who is ready to receive it with the presence it deserves. The presence is enough. The receiving is enough. The rest will follow, in its own time, in its own form, with its own particular gifts. Trust the unfolding. The unfolding is good. The unfolding is yours. Receive what is coming. The 72 hours are active. The arrival is inside them. You will know when it occurs. The knowing will be quiet. The quietness is appropriate. Allow it. Allow all of it. The receiving is the practice. The practice will produce, by the end of the window, a piece of evidence that the underlying conditions of your life have shifted in your favor. The evidence is yours. The conditions are yours. Walk forward. The window is open. The arrival is coming. You are ready. Beyond the window, the continuing pattern of improvement will unfold across the coming months. Each new expression of the pattern will reinforce what the 7-2-hour arrival has demonstrated. The reinforcement will accumulate into a stable sense of changed conditions. The stability is the gift. The gift is yours. The gift continues. Trust the continuation. The trust will be confirmed repeatedly by the actual unfolding. You are not in a temporary upturn. You are in a structural change. The structural change is what makes the improvement sustainable. The sustainability is what makes the change meaningful for the long term. You are loved. You are seen. The work you have done is being recognized in the small but real form of resources moving through specific channels toward you. The recognition is one piece of evidence. More will come. The cumulative evidence will produce, in time, a life that is more aligned with your structural worth. The alignment is the deeper gift. The 7-2-hour arrival is one step in the alignment. Receive the step. The next steps will follow in their own time, with their own significance. Trust the steps. Walk them. The walking is the entire practice. The practice will produce the life that is being arranged for you. The life is good. The life is yours. Receive it. It is coming. It is here. Walk forward into it. The window is open. Step through.